What if your life wasn't measured in years, but in the slow burn of a single piece of wood? You are Meleager, a newborn prince of Calydon. The room is warm, your mother, Queen Althea, is cooing over you, and your father, King Aeneas, beams with pride, but the air suddenly chills. 3 ancient women, cloaked in shadow and spinning ethereal thread, appear by the hearth. These are the Moirai, the Fates. Clotho the spinner looks at you. Lachesis, the Alota, measures a thread. Then Atropos, the unturnable one, points a bony finger at a thick log burning brightly in the fireplace. His life, she croaks, her voice like grinding stones, will last only as long as this brand remains unconsumed by fire. The Fates vanish. A horrified silence fills the room, while your father stands frozen, your mother, Althea, axed. She plunges her bare hands into the flames, seizing the burning log. The smell of scorched flesh fills the air, but she doesn't scream. With a gasp, she douses the brand in a basin of water, extinguishing the flame that is tied to your very soul. She wraps the blackened, steaming piece of wood in fine linen and hides it away in a heavy, locked chest, burying the key to your life deep within the palace. You are safe, for now. But destiny, once spoken, is not so easily silenced. Scholars still debate whether the Fates merely declared destiny or actively wove it, leaving no room for free will. Althea believes she has beaten them. Would you have the courage to defy fate like that? Years pass, the log is a forgotten secret, a dark memory in your mother's mind. You grow into a formidable young man, the pride of Calydon, skilled with the spear and celebrated for your courage. The kingdom is prosperous, and your father, King Aeneas, decides to hold a great harvest festival, the Thalesia, to thank the gods. You can smell the roasting meat for the feasts, see the rich offerings of grain and fruit laid upon the altars. Sacrifices are made to Zeus, to Apollo, to Hera, to every major Olympian, every god, that is, except one. In his haste and pride, your father completely overlooks Artemis, the virgin huntress, the goddess of the wild places that border his tamed fields. It's an insult of the highest order, a declaration that Calydon's civilization no longer needs to respect the raw, untamable power of nature. You see the priests murmur amongst themselves, a flicker of fear in their eyes. Remember that prophecy from your birth. It was a warning about how fragile life is. This new oversight is a different kind of spark, thrown into the dry forest of divine pride. Scholars still debate whether Aeneas's oversight was simple forgetfulness or a deliberate act of hubris, a king feeling he no longer needed the gods of the wild. But either way, a goddess has been scorned. And a scorned goddess is more dangerous than any mortal army. Ever made a mistake that you instantly knew would have massive consequences? You don't have to wait long for the consequences. Artemis does not send a plague or a drought. Her revenge is far more personal, far more terrifying. She sends a beast. From the dark woods and craggy mountains, it comes. The Calydonian boar. This is no ordinary animal. It is a monster of divine rage, as large as a bull, with bristly hair as sharp as needles and tusks like curved scythes. Its eyes glow with a malevolent red light. The ground trembles when it runs. The beast descends upon the fertile lands of Calydon. It crashes through orchards, gouging ancient olive trees from the earth. It tramples fields of golden wheat, turning a season's hard work into mud and ruin. It gores livestock and tears apart any shepherd or farmer foolish enough to stand in its way. The air grows thick with the metallic scent of blood and the sound of panicked screams. Your father sends his best warriors, but their spears shatter against its unnaturally tough hide, a detail many accounts emphasize, suggesting it was protected by the goddess herself. Their courage melts into terror as the boar turns on them. Calydon, once a symbol of peace and prosperity, is now a kingdom under siege by a single, unstoppable monster. Scholars still debate whether the boar was a physical creature infused with divine rage or a pure supernatural entity, a shadow of the goddess's wrath given form. The local heroes are dead or hiding. Your father, King Aeneas, is desperate. His kingdom is bleeding and his people are starving, afraid to even step outside the city walls. He does the only thing he can. He sends heralds to every corner of Greece, issuing a challenge, a plea for help. He calls for the greatest heroes of the age to come to Calydon and join in the great hunt. He promises glory, riches, and the boar's legendary hide and tusks to whoever can bring the beast down. And the heroes answer. Imagine the sight. From every kingdom, legends begin to arrive. Jason, the leader of the Argonauts, still smelling of the sea salt from his quest for the Golden Fleece. The mighty Theseus, slayer of the Minotaur, his presence radiating an aura of quiet confidence. The Dioscuri twins, Castor and Pollux moving with a supernatural grace, Peleus, the future father of Achilles, his hand resting on the hilt of his sword. Dozens of others arrive, a who's who of mythological muscle, turning Calydon into the center of the heroic world. You stand among them, your heart swelling with pride and anticipation. This will be the greatest hunt in history. Scholars still debate the exact roster of heroes, as many city-states later claimed their own local legends were present to share in the glory. But one thing is certain. The stage is set for an epic confrontation. Just when you think the roster of heroes is complete, one more warrior arrives. And this arrival sends a shockwave of controversy through the assembled men. It is Atalanta of Arcadia, a woman, but she is no damsel. She is a huntress, raised by bears, a devotee of the very goddess, Artemis, who sent the boar. She carries a bow with the ease of a seasoned veteran, her eyes sharp and focused. You are immediately captivated by her fierce independence and stunning beauty. You, Meleager, a prince among legends, are instantly smitten. But your uncles, Plexippus and Toxeus, your mother, Althea's brothers, are not. They scoff openly. A hunt is no place for a woman, one of them sneers, loud enough for all to hear. Others murmur in agreement, their pride wounded by the idea of sharing glory with a female. They demand that she be sent away. A tense silence falls over the courtyard. This is your first true test of leadership. Ignoring their protests, you step forward. You declare that Atalanta is as worthy as any man there, and that she will hunt with you. Your word is final. Scholars still debate whether your defense of Atalanta was born of pure love, a modern sense of justice, or a strategic move, believing a devotee of Artemis might have an edge. Whatever the reason, you've drawn a line in the sand, creating a new dangerous rift within the group before the hunt has even begun. The hunt begins. You lead the greatest heroes of Greece into the gnarled, dark forest where the boar makes its lair. The air is thick with tension, every snapping twig sounding like a prelude to attack. Remember the fear that gripped Calydon, now it's concentrated in this small band of hunters, their bravado cracking at the edges. The initial search is fruitless. The beast is cunning. Then, a roar that shakes the leaves from the trees echoes through the woods. The boar bursts from the undergrowth, a whirlwind of tusks and fury. Chaos erupts. Heroes scatter. The creature moves with unnatural speed, a blur of deadly motion. It charges Nestor, who only survives by vaulting into a tree. It gores one hero, fatally wounds another. The twins, Castor and Pollux, fight bravely but cannot land a decisive blow. Even Jason, the great adventurer, finds his spear cast aside. Many lesser-known versions of the myth include the death of Zeus, who boasted he was a better man than Atalanta and was immediately disemboweled by the boar for his hubris. The smell of pine and blood mixes in the air. This is not a hunt, it is a slaughter. Scholars still debate whether the boar's intelligence was its own, or if Artemis was actively guiding its rampage, toying with the heroes. You rally the men, trying to coordinate an attack, but it's like fighting a force of nature. The glory they all came for seems impossibly far away. In the swirling chaos of the fight, as heroes fall back and regroup, Atalanta remains calm. While the men rely on brute force, she uses her skill as a true huntress. Finding a clear line of sight, she draws her bow. The string sings, and her arrow flies true. It strikes the boar behind the ear, not a fatal wound, but a significant one. First blood. The beast roars in pain and fury, shaking its massive head. The sight of her success, of the monster finally being wounded, sends a jolt of courage through the group. This is the opening you needed. Seeing the blood, the first proof that this divine monster can be harmed, you feel a surge of adrenaline. You lead a renewed charge. While the boar is momentarily distracted by the stinging arrow, you find your moment. With a powerful, desperate thrust, you drive your spear deep into its flank, piercing its heart. The beast shudders, lets out one final, earth-shaking squeal, and crashes to the ground, dead. Silence descends upon the forest, broken only by the heavy panting of the surviving heroes. You have done it. You, Meleager, have killed the Calydonian boar. The terror is over. Scholars still debate whether your final blow was one of pure skill or if Atalanta's arrow had truly weakened the beast enough for any strong warrior to finish it. But in this moment of triumph, breathing in the scent of victory, such details don't seem to matter. Victory, the heroes gather around the massive carcass, a mixture of relief and awe on their faces. The immediate danger is gone, and now only one thing remains: the spoils. According to the laws of the hunt, the skin and tusks, the Calydonian pelt, belong to the one who dealt the killing blow. That's you. But as you stand over the beast, You remember Atalanta's crucial contribution. You look at her, the lone woman who showed more courage and skill than many of the men. In a gesture of love and respect, you declare that while you struck the final blow, she drew first blood, and therefore the prize is rightfully hers. You award the pelt to a surprised and grateful Atalanta. And that's when the celebration turns sour. Your uncles, Plexippus and Toxius, who you'll recall protested her inclusion from the start, are livid. An insult, Plexippus shouts, his face purple with rage. We did not risk our lives to see the greatest prize in Greece go to a woman who fired one lucky shot. He strides forward and rips the bloody hide from Atalanta's hands. Toxius stands with him, sword drawn, backing his brother's claim. Scholars still debate the uncle's true motive. Was it wounded male pride, genuine belief they were upholding tradition, or simple greed for the priceless trophy? The joyous atmosphere has evaporated, replaced by the cold, heavy air of confrontation. All eyes are on you. You see the prize being torn from Atalanta's grasp. You hear the jeers of your own kin. Something inside you snaps. The triumph of the hunt, your burgeoning love for the huntress, and the public humiliation all collide in a wave of pure, blinding rage. This isn't just about a boar's hide anymore. It's about honor, her honor, and by extension, your own. You shout at your uncles to return the pelt. They laugh in your face. In that moment, you are no longer a prince or a nephew. You are a warrior defending his chosen champion. You draw your sword. The heroes around you back away, stunned by the sudden turn. Before anyone can intervene, you lunge. Your movements are a blur, fueled by an anger as wild as the beast you just slew. Your blade finds its mark not once, but twice. You kill them both. Your uncles, your mother's brothers. They fall to the forest floor, their blood mixing with that of the boar. A horrified gasp ripples through the crowd. The Easter egg detail often lost is the sheer speed of this event. It wasn't a duel, but a sudden, shocking act of violence. Word of the deed travels faster than any runner, carried on the winds of rumor back to the palace in Calydon. It reaches your mother, Althea. The news she receives is a dagger to the heart. Her brothers are dead, killed by her own son. The news shatters Queen Althea. Her joy at your victory is instantly erased by an ocean of grief for her slain brothers. She is torn by an impossible conflict, the love for her son versus the sacred duty to avenge her kin. In the world of ancient Greece, the bond between siblings was sacrosanct. For a moment she hesitates, her heart a battlefield of warring loyalties. Then her grief hardens into a cold, terrible resolve. She chooses her blood. She chooses revenge. She walks with heavy, determined steps to the old, dusty chest she hasn't opened in decades. Remember the log, the one tied to your life. She retrieves it. The blackened piece of wood feels cold in her hands, a relic of a love she is about to betray. She walks to the hearth, the same hearth where the fates delivered their prophecy so long ago. With a scream that is part grief and part curse, she throws the log into the fire. Far away, on the triumphant march home, you suddenly collapse. You feel no wound, no spear thrust, but a fire ignites within you, consuming you from the inside out. It's an agony beyond understanding. Your life is burning away, tied to that piece of wood. Scholars still debate Althea's state of mind, whether it was an act of madness or a calculated, ritualistic execution. As the log turns to ash in the palace hearth, your life force gutters and dies. Your victory turned to dust. The ashes cool in the hearth, and in the fields of Calydon, the silence is heavier than any beast. The story of Meleager is not just about a monster hunt. It is a tragedy woven from a single thread of fate, pulled taut by pride, love, and rage. A mother's desperate act to save her son becomes the very tool of his destruction. A moment of ultimate glory becomes the catalyst for utter ruin. It serves as a chilling reminder that the curses we fear most often lie dormant, not in the words of gods, but in the choices we make and the secrets we keep locked away in dark chests.